There, podcast listeners. I'm about to start this week's edition of the Principled Uncertainty podcast. I got a new pop screen, so I'm like, I feel weird being behind this, even though it's going to help with my plosives. So we are live, but I'm going to start just a brief episode working alone past Christmas, so everyone's out of the office, so to speak, and it's just going to be me talking about some craziness that's happening on the internet. So let me set up another shot. Yeah, let's add another camera shot. Let's change the template. Two together. And then the B source. Okay, so you might not have heard me for a second, but I just changed the shot there. We're going to go back to single. There we go. All right, now time to start the podcast. Let me hit record on Audacity. Let me check to make sure we're good to go. Record on. Okay. Delete that file. And then, hey guys, we're ready to go. So I'm going to go to the full screen P logo, and then we're going to begin. Hey there, podcast listeners, and welcome to the Principled Uncertainty podcast. I am your host and lonely proprietor of this podcast this week. So thanks for dropping by in the post-Christmas food haze / coma that you probably just gotten out of. I think everybody's about there right now. So don't forget to follow us on Twitter. We are at PU Podcast. Go rate and review the podcast on iTunes. That's always going to help, etc., so forth and so on. We are live streaming, so if you go to ustream.tv and then find the Principled Uncertainty podcast, it should be fairly easy to find us. Tonight I'm going to be talking, I had planned on doing a follow-up episode for the whole serial backlash and the end of serial and talk, and I still will do that, but I want to make sure that I have other people here to sort of bounce ideas off of, so it doesn't become like a tinfoil hat sort of thing. And also I'm adjusting my microphone because I just got a new windscreen and it's like I have to adjust to it as well. So I wanted to have people here for the serial podcast, but I think that anyone who listens to this podcast know that we occasionally talk video games should be interested in the fact that the world has caught a fire, at least as far as video games go, because yesterday, Christmas morning, millions of people, potentially, at least hundreds of thousands of people awoke and got something under their Christmas trees, or just out. People who didn't have Christmas trees got stuff because people don't get Christmas trees but still buy people things. And some people got PlayStations, the PlayStation 4, and some people got an Xbox One. But what almost everyone got was a DDoS attack that took down the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live for all of yesterday. Now, if you're listening to this, obviously it's probably a few days after Christmas. But if you're watching the live stream, then it is the day after Christmas, and there's still really no PSN or Xbox Live, XBL seems to be back up, but there seems to be no PlayStation Network at the time of this recording / live stream. So that's a really bad thing to have happen. And if you're out of town not playing your PS4 or your Xbox One, then you might be unawares of what's going on. But I've sort of fallen into a meta game of following this on Twitter. The PSN hashtag has become a hilarious and depressing place to watch coverage of video game news. And I have to say that I'm both appalled by the tactics of the group that is taking credit for bringing down the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, but also in the sheer amount of outrage. I guess there's always going to be that on the internet, but it's what happened. I guess that's the best place to start, is with what actually took place. And there are varying and wide accounts that will say that this was the concerted work of like diligent hackers who did this. There are other people who are professed to be like IT experts and security online, and who knows, like as far as credibility goes, I don't know. Like I haven't really looked at but like looking on Reddit and hearing people talk about DDoS attacks, that's called distributed denial of service attacks. And that's what happened. That is what's bringing forth the PlayStation-ocalypse, the Xboxalypse kind of works. But what's actually happening is that there's a group out there. I kind of want to avoid saying their name because I just don't even want to give credit where credit is due on this. But there's a group of supposed hackers, and like to hear people talk about it. I mean, like I said, I was looking on Reddit, and there's one half who says that like this is a hacker group. They will make your day a bad day. Like I was reading an article on Forbes today that was about this, that it's kind of hilarious, but that if this group decides to descend upon you, you will have a very bad day. And I do not doubt that. But there's also another group of people who say that DDoS attacks are doxing is like kind of, it's not difficult. Like it's not super hacker work. It's not the sort of thing that like if you're like me and are a layman of this kind of stuff, that it's not like, oh my God, how do they manage to do all this stuff with computers? It's crazy. Like they must be like, I always imagine like people in bunkers with 14 monitors and they're all running some different program. But apparently it's not like that with a denial of service attack, that can just, someone yesterday said that the estimate was as low as $200 for the machine that would do this. And so I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that like that's the floor or the ceiling on that, but it seems like it's not that difficult to do. Like if you read Reddit, if you read the comments on like Kotaku, which I haven't seen like Stephen Totillo talk about like, oh, this isn't that difficult to do, so we can't give these guys any credit. But I also don't think that it's relatively hard either. This isn't like high level tech stuff that's going on. So I either way, a DDoS attack has happened, and it has crippled the gaming community for the last 2 solid days. And it is the stuff of movies, like it is the stuff of of novels of some kind, because it's really something that I keep getting iMessage. I keep getting iMessages. But so anyway, what happened is that this group hit the servers with, and a denial of service attack is when like a lot of fake traffic is sent to a site, and this is the very basic description of it, but a lot of traffic is sent to a site and it just clogs it up. I mean, it's just like, it would be like if you work at an office and someone just filled out a bunch of fake forms that you had to then process, which is also a very simplistic way of thinking about office work. Then it would take you a really long time to be able to filter all of that out to get to like what's actually there. But just multiply that times millions, and that's kind of what a doxing attack is. And that has happened, and the group behind it, I'll just say it because I want to talk about both groups. One is called Lizard Squad, and they are most famous, I think, based on what I've read over the last fervid 36 hours, is that Lizard Squad is behind the prank that diverted the Sony, like one of the Sony higher-ups planes to somewhere else through some sort of computer wizardry. and they are claiming responsibility for this. And there is a group of white hat hackers, so not the black hat hackers, I guess, the evil hackers. They call themselves the Finest Squad, and they've also been very vocal on Twitter about being like in direct opposition to this Lizard Squad group. And I don't know what to make of it. I think I'm gonna move my computer just a little bit more. My impression is that Lizard Squad is legit, and they have taken down these servers for 2 days, or at least they have shown Sony's weaknesses. But like people who say that, people who seem to know about these kinds of attacks say that they're fairly simple and that there's not really anything you can do to prepare. Like it's not Sony's fault that they did all they could, maybe, but who knows? Like Sony has had this happen before. I certainly hope this doesn't become a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly event. And hopefully the people who did this are brought to some form of justice, like whatever that means when it comes to like internet pranks. But it potentially costs millions of dollars for Sony and Microsoft. But it is really weird. And over the last 36 hours, millions of people have expressed that PlayStation, as of this streaming, the PlayStation Store, the PlayStation Network is still currently offline. Some people have said they've managed to get in, but I haven't, and it's been impossible. Like, also, at this point, I should say that I also did get a PlayStation 4 for Christmas, and so that is part and parcel to why I've been so interested in this, because I haven't been able to log into my account since yesterday. I haven't tried on my PS3, and people say that the PS3 has been okay, that people have been able to log in there, but mostly it was the PS4 servers that were hit, which I think is certainly problematic for everyone. And I sympathize with the people who posted tweets saying that how dare you ruin Christmas for children? And like, I'm 32 years old, so I don't really play into this. I can get up and do other stuff, and I'm a busy guy, so I can do other stuff, and I didn't have to sit around and wait on it, and I could play offline. Like I rented Far Cry 4 because all the stores are closed and I couldn't go buy it. And I managed to do just fine. I couldn't log into features or stream video, which is the thing I really want to do. Like, obviously, if you're watching this, streaming video is going to be the thing that I really want to do. So I can't stream video, I can't share video or upload screenshots or any of that craziness. And Far Cry is a game that is made for that kind of thing. I guess almost any open world game is, where it's not so linear and everything's like more or less scripted. So that has certainly sucked. I love the PS4 though, and I'm pissed off that this has happened, but I'm not directing it necessarily at anyone but the people responsible. But I also am of the opinion sort of that hopefully it will make the defenses stronger, like arrows and shields, the analogy of arrows and shield, that like however high people can shoot their arrows, you just have to make a shield that's that much higher. So I just hope that Sony's able to make a higher shield, or that someone can develop some kind of technology to prevent DDoS attacks of this sort, doxing attacks. And it's messed up. And I don't know the other group, the white hat hackers in this the Finest Squad. It's weird. Like, I don't know whether or not to believe their success or ability here, because all right, I think I should just go like in order of things that happened yesterday, because so much craziness happened. And there's actually a website where you can if you Google like DDoS attacks, or I think there's an article on Kotaku or Polygon or one of those that has like a world map that shows you all of the different ways or all of the different places where these attacks are happening. And it's almost like something from the Pentagon. But it seems as though that they got taken down, and this group Lizard Squad, who has several who knows, like 100 members, or maybe it's just a small group. Like some people say that they call them kiddie scripts or script kiddies, which I assume just means like kids who know a little bit about computers and are using what their small amount of knowledge in order to destroy large corporations. But there's so much like information and misinformation going about here that it's impossible to actually know the truth of it. But the Lizard Squad has a history of doing this sort of thing. So it's not like people saw it coming and they even warned. But the Finest Squad is based out of the Netherlands, I believe. They are the anti-Lizard Squad, like the Han Solo hacker group, I guess, like chaotic neutral, chaotic good or something. And so they said that they had this on lockdown, that the servers would not be brought down on Christmas Day, but that's eventually what happened. And it seems as though Finest Squad managed to hack the Lizard Squad's website. I don't know. I feel like I'm relaying like high school gossip, but you go to the Lizard Squad site and there is a Finest Squad page that has like all these articles about people who have been blocked, banned, and the authorities, and pictures and personal info and all of that kind of stuff. So presumably they are finding out who these people are. But as far as the networks go, if you've tried to log into either one of them, they're down. And so that's what makes it so weird is I kind of believe that Finest Squad is a good group of hackers based on the small amount of information that I have. But I also know that the servers aren't working even today. Like it is December 26th at 5:18 Central Time PM. So that's certainly not working. So they're both groups are sort of like lobbing grenades at the other group and taunting, and for obvious reasons, Lizard Squad appears to have the clear advantage because the servers are still down. Now, some shenanigans happened yesterday. Like some weird stuff happened with Lizard Squad taunting people and saying like, oh, follow this person or give me 20,000 retweets and I'll bring the networks back up. Like, which is kind of a brilliant, or at least an awful form of taunting the audience, because people naturally want what they want and they will take the chance. But I didn't give this group any sort of, I don't think I did. Like, I don't think I replied or retweeted or favorited anything, because I didn't want to give them the satisfaction. Also, I didn't think they'd stop because some people, like, that just fed their egos of like, oh, well, we're going to do this. So to hell with you. And if you favorite this tweet, then that just means I have this many people. When they first started yesterday, or when I've noticed, like when I looked up who was doing this, I think Lizard Squad had 50,000 followers and they were well above 80 or 90 by like yesterday afternoon. I think it went back down. It dwindled once people realized like, oh, I don't think they're going to take this offline or whatever. I'm also toying with lights, sorry. So once people figured out like, oh, I guess they're not going to take stuff down, then they stopped paying as much attention or like unfollowed. But there's a lot of taunting going on. And there was a lot of like, oh, if you retweet this tweet or follow this person, then we'll do what we can. But that none of that really ever happened. I mean, the servers stayed down throughout the night. At a certain point, it became obvious that that Sony was keeping the servers offline so that they could salvage, like, I guess their efforts and redouble their efforts to put the networks back up. So, I mean, I don't really know at what point that happened. But it just seemed like at a certain point, someone was like, we're taking them down for the rest of the day. But that's also secondhand. I think it's weird. This is kind of like a game of telephone, because I don't know if that actually happened or if someone reported that or if I saw it on Reddit or something like that, or if it's something that actually 100% occurred, because that also was happening. There were a lot of rumors going around yesterday. I mean, Twitter is nothing but a giant echo chamber. So that also happened. And then at a certain point last night, Kim.com, the hacker extraordinaire of Mega, Mega uploaded Mega Piracy, tried to like broker a deal and offered them like lifetime subscriptions, unlimited subscriptions, given in lieu of them like stopping this and never doing it again. And they ostensibly agreed, or at least we got a screen cap of that. And so that is where it supposedly ended, because Lizard Squad was like, hey, we're backing off. Thanks to Kim.com. It looked like this weird paying off of terrorists thing. Like, people were happy, but also furious. And also, the servers did not come back up immediately, because obviously they haven't. They're not up yet. And it seemed like, Sony's not bringing them back up yet because they're going to test them and make sure that they can go back up or do something. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes at Sony, but someone's hair is on fire and someone's job is on the line here. Like, that's really what we can take from this. Or maybe not. Maybe there's like, well, we can't prevent this kind of stuff, so we're going to do what we can. So eventually, people, like this morning, I expected it kind of to be back to normal, but that is not what happened. It was not like, yesterday sucked, but on Boxing Day, everything's going back to normal. Enjoy your internet, because the servers were still down. People still were having trouble logging in, and Sony acknowledged all of that and said they were working diligently to get it done. I have no doubt that they're doing that because they're losing gobs of money. For people who wanted to download games, I was personally going to download a game yesterday just to have it and play it, but that was impossible. Couldn't do it again today, so they're constantly losing money. Xbox, the XBL seems to be coming back up. Like, a lot of that is active, but I don't have an Xbox One, so I can't report on that. But I can say that Sony is still doing stuff. So, like, here is an update from an hour ago from the Ask PlayStation Twitter feed, and I'm going to go to the full screen. Update, we are working to restore full network services for all platforms. Thanks as always for your patience. Let's see. That is about it. I mean, that's really all there is to say. I mean, if you look at the PSN hashtag, I mean, people are still not able to get on. But the Kim.com deal might or might not have worked. It seemed like it was, because Kim.com is like hyping it. If you go to @Kim.com, KIMDOTCOM, he will be obviously hyping his own, like, I saved the day, look at me. But things are still down. So who knows? Like, Sony is apparently just holding off of them. Here's the most recent tweet from Kim.com. I try my best to get Xbox and PlayStation back online. Sorry that so many of you are still suffering outages. The ball is now with Sony and Microsoft. Wow. Lizard Squad says they have stopped attacks on Xbox and PSN, and they will honor our agreement and leave them alone. So that appears, I mean, I have no doubt that that's true. Like, I don't know why I trust Kim.com, but I do. So it seems like that's true. And it looks like, and this will just be another rumor, but it says, breaking news, Lizard Mafia accepted $300,000 worth of gift cards to stop the DDoS attack against Xbox and PSN. I don't know. PSN servers are permanently offline for 40-80% of people. PSN. Crazy. I mean, it's utter insanity. And so things are still not working. And it seems like today the line of reasoning is Sony is saying that they are keeping it off for the sake of maintenance. So that is the line they're pushing right now, is they're keeping it off for maintenance. And I don't know what they're going to be able to do. The PlayStation account has retweeted the Ask PlayStation stuff, and as far they've only gone so far as to say, we are aware that some users are having issues logging into PSN. Engineers are investigating. So as far as we know, it's still not working as of December 26th. I couldn't log in today for sure, so it probably won't be back up until at least tomorrow. and maybe later, like maybe through the weekend, So we'll see. I don't know where it goes from here, but I've been able to play single player Far Cry, and I want to talk about how much I love Far Cry 4 on the PlayStation 4 and how much I love the controller and all of the features, but I can't really access the features. I love the new controller, and Far Cry 4 seems to control better on the PlayStation 4 than the PS3, but I could just be attributing that to how great the controller feels in my hands. I didn't like it at first. Like when I first picked up the controller, I thought like, oh, I wish it was more like an Xbox controller. I want the left thumbstick up more, but the more I get used to it, the better I like it. It's heavier than the PS3 controller. This is not new information, but until we really get everything back online, I can't update how I feel about it. I mean, it's kind of sucks, which is fine. Like I'm not going to bah humbug it. It's not really Sony's fault. I don't think. I mean, it seems like this is an intentional attack on both groups, and that is. It seems like they would have a better response, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Kim.com stuff. What's to say that there won't be another attack from another group that's like them, or that these members can't just call themselves something else? It seems like extortion in a weird way. So I don't like it, I guess, is what the long and the short of that. But I don't know. I guess that's the way that it goes. And I wonder if it's going to be like this in the future, if this is just sort of like harkening a new era in the internet. Like, will this happen to other websites? I don't know. Like every holiday, is this going to be the thing that someone's going to take everything hostage and not let go of it? I mean, what if it happened to a government website, or which I guess like which ones matter, or I don't know. Like I don't know where that would matter. Like what if it happened on election day? What if a group just like decided to do something to the servers? I don't know if those machines are independent of like network access, but I don't know. It seems weird. So that's all I really have to say on it. This is going to be a really short podcast. I won't even be able to push it into 30 minutes, I don't think. But yeah, it's real weird. It's real weird, internet. So I don't know. Here we go. Yeah, PSN's just gone. And Lizard Squad is continuing to like hype themselves and say they're still doing stuff, but it doesn't seem like they are. And let's see. They're claiming 9 minutes ago $300,000 worth of vouchers. They also said PSN DNS servers are fried. They are permanently offline for 40 to 80% of people retweet to spread awareness. But they also said 16 minutes ago, all attacks on PSN and Xbox have stopped. I don't know where they're from. It says the United States. So we'll see. I mean, like, one last thought before I go. Like I said, I wouldn't push it into 30 minutes, but it reminds me of Kevin Mitnick, but on a much, I guess it's not even as grand a scale, or a bigger scale. Like, I don't know that Kevin Mitnick ever did anything this crazy. Or this widespread. Like he did more spy, espionage, James Bondy kind of stuff, but I don't know that he ever did like this. This is I don't know. Like I would love to hear Kevin Mitnick's response. As a matter of fact, let's take a second. If you can bear with me while I do that, I'm going to look up to see if Kevin Mitnick has a response. Which, like, let's see. I'm going to look at his Twitter account. Kevin Mitnick. 4 hours ago, he said it would be more impressive if Kim.com could bribe the Sony attackers. I don't see anything else. Yeah, I don't see anything. But he asked how much revenue the interview's making, but I don't see anything else. So I'm looking at an article on Gizmodo, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Who knows if there will be another group or not, but I will update as things arise. So just follow us on Twitter at PU Podcast. Just go to Twitter and type in PSN and read the desperate. It's almost like a Debtors Anonymous thread. It's really, really sad. So I'm not saying I'm any better. I'm just saying that this is awful for a holiday season. So thanks for listening to me go on and on and on. And we'll see you next week with a full crew on the Principled Uncertainty podcast. Thank you guys for listening.